and answer evening for about an hour. He's going to pick through the questions, the 87 of them that was turned over to him, and focus on ones that are more oriented to Marriott-Slaterville. Now, we put all the questions online last week, and I had somebody over the weekend say, hey, what's this question about telecommunications? How is that even relevant to Marriott-Slaterville and the mayor? And I said, you know, telecommunications, the next mayor is going to be negotiating the largest franchise agreement we've ever had, and it's going to be with AT&T. And they're going to be coming through the community, digging up your roads, digging up the driveways, and making a mess. And the mayor wants to make sure that everything's restored and that you would have access to that and that they're, you know, being accountable. So yes, telecommunications is a big part of being mayor. And so every question on the list, if you get that candidate list online, it's applies somehow. So Brad, you want to come up and I'll introduce you, talk a little bit about yourself and your format. We've never had Brad do one of these debates before, or these question and answers before, so he's going to tell you how it goes, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. All right, my name is Brad Barrowes. I am currently serving as the chair for our legislative district in the Republican Party, and I'm trying to make myself useful, so here I am. So I'm going to sit back at my desk, and so I'm going to explain a little bit of what's going on with the technology, as well as the format of our discussion tonight. We changed plans a little close to this event, so we're actually live streaming it. For that reason, you're going to see the candidates using two sets of mics, one that helps everybody in here hear what's going on, and one that helps everybody online hear what's going on. In the future, we may integrate those a little more tightly, but for today, that's what we'll be doing. So I'm gonna pass this up here, and we're gonna pass that around as we discuss. So I'm gonna take my spot back here because in addition to guiding the discussion, I'm gonna also be clicking around and trying to help the people online have a good way of participating. So before we start, something interesting happens in the Republican Party, at least, is that sometimes we lose sight of all being on the same team, and something I recognize tonight is the passion that each of you has, and I really appreciate seeing that all of you are willing to benefit Marriott-Slaterville in your own flavor. And I think that it's less about being on opposing teams more than that we're all on Team Marriott-Slaterville, and it's just picking like a team captain among teammates. So thank you for your willingness to serve your community. Just to discuss the format, as we are picking a captain among teammates, there are a few guidelines that I'd like to just have in place because it's good to have a format in mind. So what we're going to do, we've got questions that were submitted by the community, and I've boiled it down into a derivative of anything that was on that list. There's going to be a set amount of time for responding to the question, and let's see here. So there's going to be a set amount of time for responding to the question, and so if we want to have this be about what is your vision, what value do you bring in your candidacy for this position, and so I've seen these types of discussions go where time is spent kind of talking about what a candidate does not like about another, and I don't anticipate this being an issue, but just to ensure that it's more just a focus on what value we would bring in our own candidacy. If another candidate is mentioned about their policies or anything like that, we're going to give an optional response to that person, 30 seconds per thing that they could respond to. Just so it's not a matter of that claims can be made against somebody without giving them an opportunity to respond to it. It just, like I say, don't imagine it being an issue, but we will have that in place. As far as I've seen it happen where candidates will speak over or interrupt other candidates. Like I say, the whole course needs guardrails. So if we were to run into an issue where there were candidates interrupting each other, the time that was spent in interruption will be returned to the candidate whose time is being taken. And if it becomes a recurring issue, then we may begin to deduct the time spent from the candidate doing the interrupting. So, like I say, it's just good that the whole course has guardrails, even though I don't imagine any of this actually being an issue. And just because we have a certain allotted time for a question doesn't mean you necessarily need to take it. You and Keith Whitley's girlfriend might say it best when you say less or nothing at all. So, all right. And in addition to what I've laid out, for each prompt, there will be the order of response will be randomized. So I've got a little randomizer here on my desk that I will shuffle each time we have a prompt. All right, so to begin, I'm going to have a multi-part opening statement. I'm going to read all 4 parts of the opening statement because I'd like to get to know all of you, which, by the way, this is my first time meeting you. That's something that happens when you pull someone from out of town. A 4-part opening statement. And here are the 4 things so you can know how you'd like to respond to each of them. The first is that I would like you to just tell the group a little bit about yourself as it doesn't necessarily relate to politics or this position. Just what are some things that you like doing? Where are you from? Just things that we would discuss if we were speed dating. That portion will be 1 minute per candidate. The second will be what made you want to run for the position, and what do you feel the value that you would bring to the table is as a candidate. The third would be what previous experiences do you feel have helped prepare you to do a good job at this position. And fourth, kind of getting more into the things that relate to the candidacy, are what are your 3, and I will repeat all of these as we're going through them. I just want to let you know ahead of time so you can know how to allocate your responses. The last will be, what are the top 3 problems facing Marriott-Slaterville, and how would you address those problems? All right, so, yeah. By the way, if anybody's paying attention to the stream online, everything went well in testing. We're actually streaming on a separate stream than the link that was sent out. So what's going to happen is this is being recorded to be posted after. So not necessarily a live stream, and there's only so much you can do in testing before you go live, and it all falls apart. So, all right. Now with that, I'm going to randomize this list, and we'll see who's going to kick us off. All right, it looks like the order for the first prompt, and I will read it again. The order for the first prompt will be Dennis Illum, followed by Mark Hodson, followed by Chelsea Stanger, followed by Les Syme. And so, all right, the prompt again, just please tell us a little bit about yourself, things like if we were speed dating.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm glad there's so many people here. Those of you who might not know me, I've lived here for quite a few years, since the late 70s. I grew up across the river in Wilson Lane. Played a lot of tag with the Marriott kids back and forth. We had a ford over the river from Wilson Lane over us, so I spent time over here too. I have served on the city council for a number of years. I've been the president for a few years. I was on the original committee that put the city together and gathered up the property and let us become a city to begin with. So I've been involved from the beginning. Some things that helped me to do my job is I spent 30 years with the Department of Transportation and with the, I can't see that.
Sorry. I'm gonna let you finish. I did not explain this. There's actually been a small change as well. I will actually also be keeping time. I did not. We had some plans that are a little different than we originally had. So I'm also going to be keeping time. And what I'm going to do, and here we are at the 11th hour innovation. When there's 10 seconds left on the prompt for the 1 minute responses, I'll hold up this little piece of paper that just says 10 seconds. So take 15. I cut you off at about 10. Just take about 15.
Okay. I spent time with the Department of Transportation. Originally, when I went to work for the state, I worked as a state park ranger, and I ended up at the central UDOT office managing the budget of the equipment division. Is about $11 million a year. So I feel I'm very well qualified.
Thank you, Dennis. And is everybody comfortable if I refer to you by your first names? Does that sound good? Okay, I'm just gonna going to shorthand it here.
Whatever you want to call us.
Okay. All right. And the next up we have Mark Hodson.
Is my mic on? Okay.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for coming. And okay, I want to thank everybody for coming. I think it's a pretty good turnout. I was born and raised in this community. I've lived here my whole life. I'm fourth generation. My family, I have 6 generations in this community, so I have a lot of people that has done a lot for this community from the beginning of time. I'm running for the people of the community, and I want this community to thrive and do good. I want it to be better than it was, and we have to include the community in what goes on in this city. And again, I want to thank you for showing up. And if you have any questions, come to the table and ask me. Thank you.
Next, we've got Chelsea.
Okay, thank you. A little bit about me. Speed dating. Let's do my hobbies. I am an aggressive skier with mediocre skill, but I'm an avid skier. I get hurt probably every year, so you should know that about me. I've recently got into bird watching because I'm getting older. I think that's why. It's really fun. I was born and raised here. I'm a 5th generation resident. I'm a working mom, a small business owner. I did corporate events professionally since the beginning. I knew that was my calling. So I did that with really high stakes all over the world. And my proudest role is probably being someone who came back here. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. And next, we've got Les.
Like everybody else, I'm very pleased to see everybody here. We'd like to get this many people into all the meetings so everybody knows what's going on in the city. But my wife and I have been in the city for 35 years probably. We moved in and this felt like home, and it has always been our home. And with your help, we were able to raise 5 children. It's not just us, it's the community. So thank you. You guys were great examples to us. We love it here. I've had great success. I was a general contractor for the federal government. We built jobs for them all Western United States. So we have a lot of experience with the government, things of that nature. But this is amazing to be able to see everybody here and supporting everybody. So we hope everybody gets what they need.
Thanks, Les. All right. Our next question is why are you running? And what value specifically do you feel like you bring to the table? And I'll shuffle the list again. And first will be Chelsea, followed by Dennis, followed by Mark, followed by Les. Chelsea.
Thank you. So I think I've told most of you that I have wanted to be mayor since I was 12 years old. Couldn't tell you why at the time, but it has felt like a calling. And finally, I just said, it is time now. I'm running because I have a really unique view and perspective. I was born and raised here. Like I said, 5th generation. I currently live on the same farm that my grandfather farmed his whole life. And I could only do that because we are growing. So I have the perspective of, I ran around in the fields before they were developed, and I loved it. I remember when we became a city and how big and amazing that was. But then I also am only here because there are new homes. And I know that's something that a lot of us are really apprehensive about, but I'm lucky enough to be back here. So I have a foot on both sides, and I think that's a really fresh perspective that I can bring.
Thank you, Chelsea. Next we have Dennis.
Part of the reason why I decided to run is because of my age. If I wait 5 more years, I'll be too old. And I didn't want that to happen. But I've been involved with the city. Most of the ordinances that are part of our city ordinances that guide us, we put together a little at a time over the years. And we've got a good start on it, and I'd like to continue that start. I do have some experience with budgets, and I do have experience with managing employees and making sure that we have a fair shake no matter where we go. And I think I can still be an asset to the community and use my experience that I've gained from on the council and from being the president of the city council for a number of years to benefit us.
Thank you. Next we have Mark.
I'm running to make this community better and for the people. I am on the board of directors for Pine View Dam. I've been on there for 42 years. I've been the president of the board of directors for 17 years. And the water situation in this community, I don't think too many people know about it. And there's going to be a lot of different things going on. I'm in charge of the water from South Ogden to Brigham City. It's a $150 million business, and our budget's around $60 million a year that we do. So I feel that I am able to know what the people, ask the people what they want, have the community involved in what goes on in the city. And so we've got to really look into the future and see what's best for the city and the people.
Thank you. And Les.
So for me, it came down to a meeting we had not too long ago. I've been involved for a lot of years, 23 years planning commission, 21 years chair, and we've made a lot of progress. There was something that came up. I'd really thought about it a little bit, but when an item was brought up and somebody voted it down, and by law we're held to a certain standard, and we have to allow things that are allowed by law. We don't the ones that aren't. I don't want the community to get in a point where if somebody was to get in that position and cost the community a lot of needless money over things that we can't control. We try to control the things we can, and with everybody that's been on the planning commission, council, mayor, I think we've done a good job to this point. In that time frame, you look at where this city is, it's amazing.
Thanks, Les. All right, and the next prompt is, what previous experiences do you feel have helped prepare you to do a good job at this position? And it'll be 1 minute each, shuffling the list. First we'll have Dennis, followed by Les, followed by Mark, followed by Chelsea.
My previous experience, I spent a considerable amount of time working on public infrastructure, and I've always believed that we need to put in good infrastructure so it lasts us. Some of the infrastructure we're currently using today was put in 150 years ago when they first got here. Some of it's still good, some of it needs to be replaced. I spent 25 years in the Army, and I understand how things work, and I also know who's in charge, and I try to follow that person. Even if you're the mayor, there's still somebody in charge. You can't do much without the council's approval. We've had a good arrangement here in the city where the council and the mayor's gotten together, and I was thinking today, I don't think we've ever had a veto by the mayor. We've always worked things out, and usually it works out very amicably. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Les?
Question again?
Sure, no problem. Just what of your previous experiences do you feel have helped prepare you to do a good job at this position?
Being on the planning commission for so many years, helping the city change the regulations, do stuff, and we've got smart people in the city. One of the gentlemen came up, fortunately for us, and helped us develop our dark sky ordinance. So once again, listening to the community is key. For myself, we did federal contracts for years. Our company, I know how to manage things. We averaged between $200,000 and $300,000 a month in payroll. Did an average of $20 to $25 million a year with the federal government, working with them and negotiating contracts. $1 million change orders, it's a hassle. Meeting with people should be fun. It can be a hassle though, but listening to people, and that's how you make a company successful, is listening. You don't manage your employees, you work with them. And we've had some great employees. Thank you.
Thanks, Les. Mark?
I feel I'm qualified to be mayor for the people of this city, for being on the board of directors for Pine View Water. I have a lot to do with all the water along here, and our forefathers were really smart. We have 5 irrigation companies in this community. and I irrigate out every one of them. I also was night manager and director of security for 22 years at the Marriott Hotel in Ogden. I have seen everything from murders to wife beatings, you name it, I have seen it. And I think I'm qualified to whatever comes up from this city that we can solve the problems that come before us and let the people help us to determine what goes on in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chelsea?
I'm running not with the same resume that everybody else has up here, and I think that's what I bring to the table. I haven't sat on commissions or on boards. I've been out in, not the real world, we're all in the real world, but I've been out in the world leading events across the globe and domestically, and I lead high stakes, huge multi-million-dollar budgets. I assemble teams and I manage. I know how to do all these things. I know how to respect and really just respect and show people that I value them on the team. And part of doing this job isn't knowing everything. It's surrounding yourself with people who are professionals that do know what they're doing. It's doing your due diligence, which I do all the time, ad nauseum. Really, I go down rabbit holes all the time. And I have a reputation of being called in when things have to be done right, and there's no other option.
Thank you. That's what'll happen. You'll get honked at. So, yep, you'll get beat. Thank you all for your responses so far. The last of these opening statement type questions is, and this is a longer response. This will be 3 minutes per candidate. And in addition to the 10-second little wave, I'm going to give you one first that's about 30 seconds, just because 10 seconds at the end of 3 minutes, it's like wrap up your 3-minute thought in 10 seconds. So the last prompt is, what do you feel are the top 3 problems facing Marriott-Slaterville, and how would you address those problems? And we'll shuffle the list. We will start with Chelsea, followed by Les, followed by Dennis, followed by Mark.
Okay. The top 3 issues that I see currently facing our city, the biggest issues that I'm noticing when I go out and talk to people. I've knocked a lot of doors. I've met a lot of you. I have about 200 homes left to get to, so I haven't forgotten you if we haven't met. But the issues that I'm hearing and seeing are managing our growth while protecting our rural character, improving our public safety, especially our roads, and increasing transparency and community input. Growth is coming. We can all agree on that, but it shouldn't come at the cost of who we are. So we need to plan smart, not fast. Public safety is a concern. I'll work closely with the Sheriff's Office to address speeding, vandalism, enforcement gaps that we need to keep our community safe, to keep our kids riding bikes and us walking dogs and enjoying seeing each other on the sidewalk. So I'll work with them doing that. Finally, and most importantly to me, I think we need to improve how we communicate with our residents. Our community a lot of times feels like they're the last to know. They see something as they drive by and say, when did that happen? Why didn't I know about it? And I think that is one of the biggest problems that we are facing here as residents in our community. I don't think good leadership doesn't just listen, it acts, and it doesn't do that just after the fact. So that is the number one thing that I want to address, is that community input.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have Les.
So the 3 main things, as Chelsea stated, managing our growth. We've been doing that successfully for quite a few years now. I would like to continue that. And people don't understand what it takes to manage the growth unless they come into the meetings and see what everybody has to do. There's a lot into it. I mean, nobody wants taxes. Nobody wants a lot of things. And the growth is combined with housing and commercial property. That's why we don't have taxes. Managing that is a balancing act, and it's been done really well to this point. That's why we don't have city taxes. I believe we're one of only 2 cities in the state that does not have a city tax. That's pretty phenomenal. The aging infrastructure is huge. Dennis kind of touched on that. Our infrastructure is been here a long time. I think we need to really look forward to what we're going to do. Roads cost an enormous amount of money to repave. We got to figure out which roads are going first. There's people that can come in and help us with that and tell us what we need to look at. We need to stay ahead of this, not after the fact that we have a problem. We need to be in front of it so that we can plan, we can budget correctly. I'm telling you, we've had water lines blow. Everybody's seen them. I had two at my house in the last 2 years, one on each side in 1 year, excuse me. And that's going to continue to happen. Those water lines have been there a long time. We have to manage the sewer. We've got a lot of things to do, and but we have to stay on top of it. So my other thing is, right now, and I don't know how many know, the state is pushing for 8 houses an acre. 8 houses an acre. And if they pass it, they'll ram it down our throats. So we need to stay on top of that as a community, as a mayor and as council. We need to stay on top of that so that we have our input in that. And I'm okay. We need high density housing. We have some here. We were looking at some on 12th Street, but high density housing doesn't work good for the next person. Like the Summers that build a nice house, $1 million+. We have a lot of those here. There's areas where it needs to go. We don't need somebody coming in telling us we're going to put, and I grew up in mobile home courts. I don't want a mobile home court plopped right next to me. That's what could possibly happen, something in that magnitude. So we just need to manage that, keep an eye on what the state does, and run our community as best we can.
Thank you. Dennis?
Probably the 3 things that I think are the most important is our public safety, number 1, and figuring out how to pay for it. Currently, we pay just a little better than half of the money we collect for public safety. And somehow we need to increase our public safety without spending more money. And that's part of the problem. When we put something in, it needs to be something that makes us money we can collect tax from. There's no sense putting something in like a storage shed that we get nothing for, because we still have the same problem. The other thing I'm concerned about is part of our problems with public safety are caused because we have freeway exits in our town. We have more freeway exits. We have 2 freeway exits. You know how many Ogden has? Ogden doesn't have any. 21st Street, and they have 24th Street that's a half an exit. You can only get off going one way. So as the people come off the freeway, that's what causes our public safety budget to goes up. That's what causes the number of gas stations we have in town go up. Everything that comes off the freeway causes this problem. So I'd like to be able to manage that. The other thing I'd like to do is to make sure we're upgrading our infrastructure. We have a bridge over the Willard Canal on 700 South that currently only has a 15,000-pound or a 15-ton load limit on it. That bridge is our bridge, and it's inspected by the state, and they tell us the deficiencies. So far, we've kept up to it, but when the canal gets replaced and they do something with that bridge, we'll have to either find the funds to pay for it, or we'll have to pay for it out of our tax dollars. And it concerns me that we want more services, yet nobody wants to put something in that will give us the tax dollars. We have a huge amount of land in our city that's currently master planned for commercial. There's very little residential or very little manufacturing, but there is some commercial. And the commercial is what makes us our money because we collect a sales tax on it. The other thing I'd like to improve on in our city is the communication we have with each other. I've been on the city council, and as the president, I set the agenda for the city council. And everybody that wants to come in and talk at the city council, I put them on the agenda, we prepare, and we do a presentation to help them along. If you just come to city council, you probably won't get to speak because the agenda's full. But if you have a problem, say something. Usually we'll take care of it, or we'll put it on the agenda. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. And then Mark.
I think the 3 most important things in our community is number one, water. People don't realize what's going on with the water situation. Why is the Great Salt Lake not filling up? Why is it going down? Water is going to get to be a thing that if you don't have water, nothing survives, you guys. Another thing is development. Being on the board, I have dealt with developers all over the county. Right now, we're going through a situation in Plain City that they're going to develop 1,700 acres. Townhouses, apartments, housing, everything. We can't sustain that, you guys. We're going to run out of water. We've got to use common sense. And I'm against high density. I don't want high density in our city. 8 homes on an acre. Where are the kids going to go out and play? They stay in their front room and play? We need open spaces for the kids to go out in their backyard and play and have a good time. Our children are precious things for this community, and we got to do things and involve our children, get them involved in what we do. One other thing is the open space. I still love this community, and I have to say there's some great people in this community that hasn't sold their ground and developed to developers and things. Developers come in, they don't live here, they don't care what happens to this community. So I congratulate the people that own quite a bit of ground and they're keeping it farmable, and I love to see the green grass, and I like to see hay fields and different farm fields. So that's what I think the 3 top issues facing the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right. Thank you for participating in those kind of opening statement type things. We have some more specific questions now that have to do a little bit more with some things in Marriott-Slaterville. So I've got 5 questions here to start. Depending on where we end on time, we may select some of the other questions that were on the questions that you all were given. But to start, and it's been touched on a little, but the question is, what are your priorities for improving and maintaining city infrastructure, such as roads, sewers, drains, and secondary water? And we'll shuffle the list. We'll start with Chelsea, then Dennis, then Mark, then Les. And this will be 1 minute per response.
Okay, perfect. So question was, can you say it again?
Yeah, no problem. I'll pause. This is okay. What are your priorities for improving and maintaining city infrastructure like roads, sewers, drains, and secondary water?
Perfect, thank you. As we are growing and developing, I would make sure that we are constantly in communication with our developers and making sure that we're holding them to a very high standard so that we aren't going to have issues as soon as they just build and move out. That's a really big issue. We always need to make sure that we have enough water, and we do make sure that if you are building, you have to have water rights. So that is a safeguard that we have in place that is important. We still can drain on, be a drain on that. But as far as infrastructure goes, we need to consistently be looking at it and seeing when it was built and what we've done to improve it, and make sure that we have things that are on a timeline that we're keeping up with, that we know about a leak before it becomes an issue and we have crumbling infrastructure. Thank you.
Thanks, Chelsea. And Dennis?
As far as my priority for the infrastructure, I'm kind of a roads guy, roads and drains, and water plays in with that. I think it's really important that we not only have the water, that we maintain enough water for the city, but I'm concerned about the quality of our water that comes into the city. Everything that's a problem for us generally comes through another city, and we don't know the quality of that water, and we need to make sure that we maintain that. As far as the roads, we have upgraded a few roads. It's very painful to upgrade roads and make things bigger and wider. Most of the problems with capacity on the roads is caused not really by our city, but by the freeway exits in our surrounding cities that build homes and they dump onto us. So we need to take care of that. When we first became a city, I took some of the funding, I was the public works director when we first were a city, and we tried to split up when we work on the roads and when we don't work on the roads. And we put together a plan so we do certain roads on certain years so we get them all covered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Mark?
I think public safety and reliable ensuring that the roads are safe and our sewer and drains work. So when we do have a flood situation in the city, that it will be able to help us with our drains and things so it don't flood people out. On the water, being on the board, we had a chemical spill about 2 months ago, and I was the one that they contacted. I have a lot to do with all 5 irrigation companies here, and I come over and told the city we've had a chemical spill and we shut all the irrigation companies off. So I'm informed about the water and how clean it is and everything. We have to maintain a good, clean secondary and culinary water. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mark. And Les?
So I touched on it briefly before. I think the only way to get a handle on our infrastructure is get a professional company to come in and they'll survey it for us. Because we can all say our road's bad, or I can point out, we got spider cracks all through here, along with everything. But if we get a company in here that can survey it, they can give us time frames so that we can prioritize what needs to go first, not just because somebody's complaining more than somebody else, but where the money really needs to go. They can help with that. Without that, there's a lot of things we can't see that are underground. They know how to survey it, come up with a remedy, a solution of when we need to repair it before it becomes a problem. That's the only way really to do it, in my opinion, is have a professional come in, and so we know where to spend our money, because our money's tight.
Thanks, Les. All right, the next question is, how would you balance the growth of the community? Oh, running a bunch of things, spinning a bunch of plates. My time ran out. Let's see. So the question is, how would you balance the growth of the community with maintaining the rural character and farming heritage of our community? We'll shuffle the list. First, we'll have Dennis, then Chelsea, then Les, then Mark.
We've had this problem with our community and how to maintain the rural feel and how we balance the growth. One of the reasons that we're balanced like that is because if you're going to develop a large piece of property, we try and cluster homes. So the density in the city is 1 acre, 1 lot, but that's not to say that all lots have to be 1 acres. If we cluster them up, we can build smaller lots off in a corner where there's already infrastructure, and it allows the property owners who may own ground that's not buildable to credit that ground against a buildable lot. So if you have 10 acres, you get 10 lots, and if some of that's slough, it doesn't matter, we still count the slough as the acreage. So we try and do cluster subdivisions. We save the balance of the land, usually in some kind of an easement or an agricultural area, and we do our very best to maintain the farms and farm ground where we are. And we have open space right now that's farmed by farmers, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dennis. Chelsea?
Thank you. If we could leave the land as is, I'd be really happy, and I think most of everyone else would too, but that's just not the reality. We do have to grow, but we don't want to trade our identity in for it. I support cluster subdivisions. I live in one, and I'm really grateful to be in that. It's small. It still gives you a great rural character feel, even though we are in a subdivision. We've got sidewalks. I never thought I'd see the day that I lived in Marriott-Slaterville and had a sidewalk around me, but we do still have that rural character that we love. I support conservation easements where we can buy the rights to the building on the land so that it can still be farmed, but no one can ever build on it. I think that's a really important thing that we can do to protect that rural character and our farming heritage, honestly. A general plan that supports what we're trying to do and our vision. If we plan wisely and we grow in a way that feels like us, then we won't just be another suburb off a freeway.
Thank you. And Wes?
Could you repeat the whole question?
Yeah, no problem.
Please.
Let's see. So how would you balance the growth of the community with maintaining the rural character and farming heritage of our community?
Thank you. You know, it's tough to have a person that's had their ground all their lives and you've lived next to it, sell it and put houses in. But that gentleman is able to do that. We've had some farmers that have worked all their lives in this community and we've appreciated it. At one point, folks, there's going to be a lot of houses out here, but I think if we maintain what we've started with 1 acre lots, cluster subdivisions, the easements are good if we have the money to buy those easements out, so nobody can build on them in future. But we have to manage what we can, allow people to do it. It's tough. I don't want anything else being built next to me either, but it's going to happen. But we've managed at this point, and I want to keep managing it just like it is.
Thank you. Mark?
I would encourage people to keep their 5 acres, 3 acres, 20 acres, 100 acres in the farm ground. I don't want to see, I'm not for cluster housing. I'm just not. I don't know why we think this year we got to build 100 homes. This year we got to build 200 homes. I think with knowledge and common sense that we can move this city forward and still keep it rural. And that's what I'm in favor of.
Thanks, Mark. All right. The next question, a little bit to do with heritage as well. What would be your plan for maintaining and/or expanding community events, traditions, parks, and public spaces? We'll shuffle the list. We'll start with Dennis, and then Mark, then Les, then Chelsea.
I sure get to be first a lot.
Man, I've noticed.
Thanks, Dennis.
As far as keeping our heritage, we have a number of celebrations in the city that we use, and we use them in our parks. And there's been some people wanting to change what we're doing. And those celebrations we have are usually pretty good celebrations. Our 4th of July party is well maintained because it's an old-fashioned 4th of July. We try and do that how we've always done it, and we hold it in the Marriott Park. There's quite a few celebrations that we've added on after that. That's our main celebration. But I remember that when you put in parks, that parks cost money, and parks cost a lot of money. The park we put out back of the city hall here has an expensive restroom that we have lots of problems with. We spend lots of money on parks. I'd like to continue doing that, but we need to find some way to maintain the parks we have and make sure they're adequately staffed and that the cities can use them. And we don't quite have enough parks.
Thank you. And Mark?
What was the question again?
Yeah, no problem. I was just thinking it was a long one here. So let's see. What would be your plan for maintaining and/or expanding community events, traditions, parks, and public spaces?
Well, living here my entire life, the 4th of July, when I was a kid, we had a little rodeo and we had a good community. We need to continue to involve the people in these gatherings, but we need more of them. We need to become a community where we know our neighbors and we can do things and help people out. Be good neighbors. Make this community a community where people are safe and do what the people want to do in this community.
Thank you, Mark. Les?
You know, we're very fortunate to be in the community we're in. The 4th of July is an amazing event. We've been there every year. How many people know we had over 100 volunteers from this city helping at the 4th of July? That's pretty amazing. And that's how we keep traditions going, is by getting people out, getting them involved, because it is a great time. We have some great parks here. We've all been able to use time to time. As Dennis says, they're expensive, but we have to have parks. We have to have places for people to go stretch. We try to, when we do things, we try to put in trail systems that join other trail systems. Our heritage is very important to us. And with me not being here all my life, but this is where I want to die, is in this city. I don't want to right now, Rod, don't say anything. But I do. This city means a lot to me, and so we'll keep it going.
Thank you. Chelsea.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, no problem. Yep, a lot of parts in there. So let's see. What would be your plan for maintaining and or expanding community events, traditions, parks, and public spaces?
Perfect. Well, if you're looking for someone who knows how to plan a party, that would be me. So this one, is right up my alley. First, I think that we need to start treating our community celebrations as more than just calendar fillers. We need to make them things that people don't want to miss out on at all. And they're marking their calendar to go, not just be like, oh, is there something going on this weekend? I don't know. I think we really need to invest in that. I know that we have Annie Dunaway who's working hard on the market, and we need to support that and do things so that they're not conflicting with maybe other cities' markets going on, so that we're not pulling residents away from other places they're going. So that we work in tandem with them, rather. That would mean food trucks, music, supporting local people who could be involved in that. And I know we have a lot of talent here. I think we need to celebrate who we're becoming and who we've been. And I fully support that, and the parks, and making it inclusive for everyone.
Thank you. All right. The next question is, and maybe we'll break this one up too, because let's see. Let's do that. The first part of this question will be, how will you ensure transparency and open communication with residents? We will shuffle the list. First, we'll have Les, then Chelsea, then Dennis, then Mark.
So I think the city does a pretty good job right now. We adhere to the Open Meetings Act, that we cannot congregate the council. Too many people, it becomes a violation. Everybody in this community is invited to every meeting we have. Doesn't matter what it is. I think we may need to look at some technology to help us get the word out better, like the Zoom meeting that we were having. I never received anything on it. There might be a way that we can get information out like that. So if there is an emergency or something, that can be posted to the residents of the city. I'm not sure how that would work. I'm not a tech guy, but we got some smart people. Yeah, I'm kind of lost. Okay, I'm out of time. I want to say something else. We're good.
Okay. Thanks.
Who's next?
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. So it was, how can we improve communication?
Just how will you ensure transparency and open communication with residents?
Perfect, thank you. I know, as I've been out talking to a lot of the residents, that people know, when we have city council and things going on, but when they can't speak up or comment, they're not going to come. They don't want to come to that. And they might read the minutes later, but our website is really hard to find. It's like a treasure hunt with no treasure at the end. It's very difficult to navigate. I would completely overhaul our website. And I know they are working on that, but I would really get involved with that. I really want to start doing town halls and informal neighborhood meets where we have food, because nothing's better than having food, and having a casual chat with your mayor and talking about what's working for you and what's not working for you. Where you don't have to come to the city and talk about it and feel like it's more formal, because it's really just about getting out and serving our citizens and meeting you where you are.
Thank you. And Dennis? And
Transparency, we have a website where everything's put on a Marriott-Slaterville website. The meetings that we hold, that we take minutes of, are all put on the state's website. We're required by law to post all of the minutes within a certain amount of time after the meeting's over with. And as far as transparency at the meeting, if someone wants to come to city council or the planning commission, all they have to do is say what they want to talk about, and they're on the agenda, and they can come talk about it. We found it's very unfair to just take somebody into city council and have an open meeting and end up with a free-for-all and the sheriff having to maintain the meeting when it goes out of hand. So we try and do our research before we go to the meeting. We do have the computer that we use. Then we have the note that comes in your water bill that's kind of a written note. And the one I'm really worried about is the people who don't have internet access and can't log on. We need to increase that
Beep, beep.
that paper at the
Sorry.
on the water bill.
Thank you. I hit the timer slightly late, so I'm imitating a beep beep.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Mark, thank you.
I will always tell the truth. I will never lie to the people of this community. I'll keep an open mind and communicate with the residents, listen to their concerns. It's not my way or the byway. I want to have conversations with the people to see how they feel about it. A problem I think we have in here is I'm an old timer. I'm getting up there and I don't know how to use the internet. I think we need to educate our older people how they can get on and make this internet a lot friendlier for the people, older people, so they can get on and know what's going on in this city.
Thanks, Mark. All right. And we're actually going to forego the second part of that question altogether because we're up against the time where we can go back and chat one-on-one. But I do want to give each of you an opportunity to just have a closing statement. Just anything you'd like to talk about. There will be 2 minutes for this section. I'll do the 30-minute warning as well as the 10, and I'll shuffle the list again. We'll start with Chelsea, then Dennis, then Les, then Mark.
Okay. 2 minutes, right?
Yes.
We all care deeply about the city. That's why we're here, and a lot of you have tuned in through the internet. But I think it's time for leadership that doesn't just reflect who's always been in the room and who's always had a voice and a seat at the table. No one invited me. No one offered me a chair. I grabbed one and I started taking up space. And I think that that's what we need. We need people who have the energy to come out and speak with you and can work in different areas and really problem solve with what we've been working with as far as tech and different things that we used to have that were working for us and might still be a little bit, but also can bridge the gap for where we're going. I'd like to involve even school students that are involved in journalism and IT and political science and get them involved to help get the word out to our citizens. I think that we have a lot we can do that doesn't take away from where we've been, because I don't want to erase that. That's my favorite thing. That's why I came back. My husband did not have a choice. It was, these are my roots and this is where I want to raise my family. But I do want to make sure that she has something better. And I think that's what everyone wants for their children. We want them to thank us for what we've done and the stewardship that we have provided for our community, and not have grandchildren asking down the road, what the heck were you thinking and what have you done? Why did you do it this way? So I think that I bring a really unique view and a voice, because even my siblings, my younger siblings, don't remember what it was like before, we had houses everywhere. So I am in a very unique position to see both sides.
Thank you. And we have Dennis.
I knew it.
I'd like to continue what we've been doing for the past few years. I think that I'm well qualified. I have a pretty good idea about what's going on in the city. And with me, you need to know that I'm here. When I was working full time, I worked for the Wyoming Highway Department and I worked for the Montana Highway Department, and the state loaned me out to those states to work for them. And I was always here to council meeting. My phone's open. I take all my phone calls. I answer everything that calls. I get a lot of bad calls, but I take them all because I never know who's calling. So with me, you have me here. In the time I've been on the city council. I've missed one meeting, and that's because I got in an accident and was in the hospital, and I told my wife to call Scott about 20 minutes before the meeting because he was the assistant chair, and he didn't like that. He didn't like taking it over. So I'm here all the time. I'm close. I farm. I know the land. I know the roads. I try and con somebody else into working for us if I can. If you remember the days of the county fair, we had always tried to paint the roads before the county fair, so we had lines on the road. I'm in agreement with the highway department because I was on the paint crew that we could test the truck in Marriott-Slaterville. So when we were working on the truck and we tested it, I came out here and painted the roads and saved us some money. And I'd like to continue to do that. Don't just take on what needs to be done and pay the money. We need grants, and we need to have funding mechanisms for it. But if it's not our problem, I don't want to pay for it. And I appreciate your time tonight. I hope you agree with what we've said. I'm happy with the rest of the candidates, and we'll work hard for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. And Wes?
So before I forget, I'd like to thank everybody right at the top for coming out and showing that you care. We have a wonderful city, and it's because of people like you. It's the people that volunteer all the time. As I said before, I've been on the Planning Commission for 23 years. That's volunteered time, no pay, no nothing. Why did I do it? The mayor's asked me. The mayor before him asked me. And I thought it was my job to do something for the city and not worry about getting paid, not worry about something out of it other than helping the community out, you can either manage progress as best you can, or it'll just run you over. So this city, we've been trying to manage the progress as best we can. And I've been proud to say I've been part of that for a long time. And I just don't want to see the city go backwards on anything. I want it to move forward. We're crazy if we're going to stop growth. If you think we're going to stop growth, we're crazy. So let's work together. Let's manage it as best we can. It's also been said that I may not be able to manage somebody correctly. I want to put that aside or control somebody. I don't plan on controlling anybody as the mayor. I plan on working with people to accomplish things. Nobody wants to work with somebody that tries to control them. I'm not that guy, but I've been very successful. Thank you.
Thanks, Les. And Mark?
When I become your mayor, I'm going to work with the people and have them have an input on how this city goes forward. I'm also going to work with the city planners and the planning commission and our city, what are you, Dennis? City councilor. Yeah. City council. I want to work with people to make, that's the only way we're going to be able to move forward, people. We don't need conflicts. We need input. We need people asking questions. If we do have a conflict, we need to sit down, work through the conflicts so the conflict don't grow bigger and bigger. So when there's a conflict, we need to sit down, be civilized, and talk about the situations. We need to take into concern about a big thing I have is for the children of this community. We need to do more for the children. This community has to take these children under our wing. Keep an open eye. Look on your neighbors. If you see suspicious activity, tell somebody. I drove a school bus for 30 years. The kids used to come up and talk to me about all their problems. They wouldn't talk to their parents. They couldn't talk to their problems, so I kept an open mind, and that's what we need right now. We need the adults to have an open mind and be able to bring up our younger generation in this community. And I want to thank you for all coming. And when I become your mayor, I hope I'll do proud for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you go any further, could we give a round of applause for the moderator? Thank you for taking your time.
Thank you. That's nice. Well, thank you all very much. There's a couple things. One, I really admire that you as a town have got such great options in your candidates here. I appreciate your decorum. I appreciate your visions, and thanks for bringing that and putting it forward, because it's no cakewalk to run a campaign. And so good on you, and however this lands, thank you for being willing to come and contribute. Let's see. Bill, did you have anything else you wanted to do? Okay. Can I grab that one mic so that people watching can hear what he's saying? Double mics, like a rapper or something.
Well, just appreciate everybody for coming, but also it's a lot of work to put your name out there in front of a community and everything that goes into running for office. So let's give our candidates a hand. I speak for the staff that we would be proud to work with any of you. We would. And we wear a lot of hats here. It's a lot of stress. And when you're putting on a 4th of July with 1,000 people there, and then you're setting up this event and you're getting ready for the family dinner event in September, we wear a lot of hats and it's a stress. And so let's give a round of applause to the staff that helped put this on tonight. I'm sorry about the heat. The air conditioning in the senior center's been on the fritz with this hot weather, and so Trent's gonna get that fixed tomorrow. I got some bottled water in the back that's free that we set there. It's left over from the 4th of July. So you're welcome to help yourself to that. But you know, these guys have some big shoes to fill with Mayor Van Leeuwen here. You know, I was sitting in my office one day typing up some random memo, and Mayor Van Leeuwen comes in and he's got an entire camera crew behind him. I'm like, what in the hell is this? And he comes over to my office and he's like, Bill, I want you to meet Guns of the West from the History Channel. So apparently I'm on some random episode of Guns of the West. So if you're gonna bring Guns of the West, please tell me so I can put on a better shirt than I had on that day. We're gonna adjourn this meeting. The mayor will give a closing statement, and then
Can we applaud these four for their due diligence? And their
sure. They spend a lot of study. So another round of applause for our candidates. And then you get a meet and greet with them, Karen, right here in the back for the next hour or as long as you want to take. And if your question wasn't answered, and I've heard a couple people say, hey, mine wasn't answered, I'm like, ask it here in the back, because you got all the rest of the evening to do that. Here's your mayor.
Hey guys, I can't tell you how thankful I am to represent you guys. I have done for the last 8 years. I've worked for the city for 25 years. I know just about every one of you on a personal level. It's been the proudest thing I ever done. I don't care much about this office, but I sure as hell hope one of those guys do a good job. That's all I can tell you. Thank you very much. Thanks for my wife for supporting us for the last 8 years while I'm living over here. And thanks to you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.
I think we should all give Scott a round of applause.
Or a standing ovation. He's done a great job. Thank you for coming.